Everyone told me I was brave when I moved to Mexico. Nobody told me I was brave when I moved back. This is the story of leaving a life behind twice and what I found on the other side of both. I was 37 years old. I had just come out of a very painful breakup, the kind that makes you question everything. And I was tired of the hustle. I was tired of the noise. I was tired of the pace. And I just needed something different. I wanted to feel something real again. I'm of Mexican descent, and I had been feeling a pull to explore my roots for some time. So when an opportunity came up to manage a vacation rental in Puerto Vallarta, I took it. I said yes. And I told myself that it was temporary. That was 2009. I felt so alive there. And I know that that sounds so cliche, but I mean it in the literal sense. It was like I had been holding my breath for years, and there I was finally able to exhale. There was real community. People smiled at each other. They greeted each other on the street. The ocean was there, and the sunsets. If you have seen any pictures of Vallarta, you know. I didn't watch TV for 15 years, and I didn't miss it. Not once. I taught Spanish as a second language. I taught dance classes. I worked remotely and gave wellness workshops. I didn't make a lot of money, but I was so happy. I was connected and I had friends that felt like family. Little did I know that I would build a whole life there, 15 years worth. But here's the thing many don't talk about when they build a life so far away. The people you love most, your family, aren't in it. The birthdays, the holidays, the hospital stays, you miss it all. And for a long time, I told myself that that was okay, that I'd made my choice, that this was my life now, until it wasn't. Within just a few months, everything changed. I lost my remote job, I had a breakup, and my parents were now getting older and were needing more help. I sat with that for a while, and I knew it was time to go back. And I want to be honest with you, that decision didn't feel brave. It felt terrifying because leaving for something new is exciting. But leaving something you love behind, that's grief, even when it's your choice. I was so excited to be home. I had this picture in my head, family dinners, getting together more often, a new closeness, all the things that I had been missing. The reality, it wasn't the reunion that I had expected. Some relationships had already shifted while I was gone. Some wounds I thought were healed weren't. And some family members had built their family lives without me. And honestly, that was their right, but it still stung. I had to sit with that too. But here's what I keep coming back to. And if you're going through something similar, I want you to hear me out. I didn't want to have any regrets. And my parents were getting older, and I felt a soul calling to do what I could to be there to assist them with what they needed right now at this stage in their life. And that clarity to me was worth more than comfort. Looking back, each move cracked me open in a completely different way. Mexico taught me simplicity. I stopped chasing things and started noticing the trees, the ocean, the people, the expressions, life in general. I noticed the strays, and I don't just mean cats and dogs. I noticed the people that were lost. I empathized. I became someone who cared about those who clearly needed caring for. That was my first awakening. Coming back to the US taught me something different, something harder. It taught me that some healing can only be done face to face. You can't fix a family wound from thousands of miles away. You can't rebuild trust through a screen or a phone call. Some things need proximity. They need presence. That was my second awakening. And quite frankly, it's still in progress. If any of this is resonating with you and you're in a season of change where you want to talk about this kind of stuff honestly, then it would mean so much to me if you comment "me too" in the comment section. So here I am now, 54 years old and starting over again. And I'll be honest with you, this rebuild is the hardest one yet. Not because the circumstances are worse, but because I see more clearly now. I see the patterns and the low self-confidence that I didn't realize I had been carrying for so many years. The abandonment wounds that I never fully dealt with, and the people-pleasing that I would call being nice. I realized that I will no longer abandon myself just to keep the peace. That sentence took me over 50 years to say, and I really mean it. This new life is still filled with so much uncertainty, but I am so much more intentional about it than I ever was before. I have half a century of experience and wisdom behind me, and for once, I fully trust it now. When I feel lonely, and I do feel lonely at times, I turn to God. I turn to the few deep friendships that I've been blessed with. I turn to my siblings who get it. And I turn inward, because that's where the real rebuilding happens. I know my life isn't perfect and I'm not perfect, but I've made peace with that. It's about being willing to keep going, even if you don't know where you're headed. If you're in a season where you've left something behind and you're not quite sure what's ahead, I want you to know something. That space between who you are and who you're becoming, that's not emptiness. That's not failure. That's that sacred pause, and that's where all the growth happens. I'm so glad you're here. And check out this next video. This is one YouTube is recommending if you're in this season of reinvention and transformation. I'll see you in the next one.